Nonetheless, I believe most people just want to do their jobs, have peace at work, earn good money, and go home. But what happens far too often is confusion, agitation, and a reduction in performance, and an unfair balance in workload. The purpose of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast is to help you better understand your work environment as I break down my own experiences as mid-level management of road construction. Greetings, navigators, and welcome back to the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast, the Can You Relate series. I am your host, Kenny Rogers.
Come on, man. Sit the fuck down.
At this point of the show, we introduce a new word or a word hardly used in everyday speech to help up your vocabulary. Word up. Provocateur, a person who provokes trouble, causes dissension, or the like. Agitator. Provocateur, a direct correlation with the French phrase agent provocateur, meaning to provoke or provoking agent. Provoke derives from the Latin word provocare, meaning to call forth. As in the definition, a provocateur, the common association is emotional calling forth of the negative kind. In my opinion, a provocateur can also be a person who provokes a positive state of mind, like an inspirational speaker, spiritual leader, or counselor. But the current logged definition states provocateur as a troublemaker. So, I guess we'll stick with that. Don't forget to order your copy of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Workbook to help you navigate your work environment. The link is in the bio. Disclaimer. At some point in this episode of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast, I may come across a little woo-woo and even scientific. For instance, take the use of spells, charms, and incantations. The use or practice of these words basically means to influence. To influence means to gain a desired outcome. In the realm of spells, charms, and incantations, it all boils down to control for mischievous results, or to use the etymology of mischievous, which is the old French term meschiver, MESCHEVER, meschiver. It's kind of like a mess achiever, same meaning, which is to cause to fail or end badly. Nonetheless, I believe most people just want to do their jobs, have peace at work, earn good money, and go home. But what happens far too often is confusion, agitation, and a reduction in performance, and an unfair balance in workload. A lot of people find themselves in a perpetual state of exhaustion before they clock in and even on weekends. Have you ever reached a level of bewilderment and privately said, "What the hell is going on here? I have a good job, I earn good money. Why do I feel so miserable? I mean, I do my job, I don't cause any trouble, and I actually own up to my mistakes. Yet people still act like they hate me." As I've mentioned in a previous episode, metaphorically, you can be the glue that is keeping the system together. But where there is no reciprocity,
for the person keeping the motor running, at end, they themselves will fall apart, and the entire structure will crumble to the ground. Some of the reason for the lack of reciprocity is due to the energy others have and the energy you bring. Energy is vibration. Opposite or opposed energies can't vibrate in the same frequency or feed each other. Notwithstanding, different energies can and does vibrate in harmony, like the keys on a piano or the in-tune strings of a violin. Sounds a little scientific, right? Let's use concepts of physics and the related entities of force and energy. Stars, like our very own sun, gives life-sustaining energy such as light energy, heat energy, and even vitamin D energy. Conversely, black hole energy is a powerful vacuum even light energy can't escape. The radiant solar lamp called the sun has one job: burn, baby, burn. Yet that one job yields many benefits. It is common knowledge our sun is a giant burning ball of gas that has done its one job for millions of years. But remember, the sun is a ball of burning gas that gives and receives absolutely nothing in return. Thus, like wood for a campfire, if you don't add timber to fuel it, the fire will eventually go out. As for our sun, no one knows when it will reach its end, but one day it will. Black holes have no known benefits for life or expansion of the universe. What we do know, it inhales all forms of energy, light, and matter. In fact, a large black hole will absorb an inferior black hole. Alike energies in synchronicity, so much so they become one thing, magnifies the results of whatever it is they do. If anything, even more powerful than the sun goes near a black hole, it is doomed to no longer give value. Unlike the sun that only gives, as far as we know, the negative energy of a black hole only consumes. And once it pulls positive energy completely into its dark embrace, there is no chance of escape. Everything is an example. Everything is connected. I believe all forms of life systems and cosmic systems mirrors the other. The difference in the life system of human beings is we can unplug from energy vampires and plug into an alike source that gives back, magnifying usefulness. Fuel to fuel, iron sharpening iron. The systems of the universe, the life systems of plants, insects, and animals naturally and instinctively function this way. Again, the observable systems are mirrors. The differences are one has no ability to decide. The other uses instincts to survive and thrive. And humans have the ability to choose. To be consumed or not to be consumed. That is the question. You don't know what you don't know. But when you know, you wish you always knew. When I was working with the team of vampires I've been talking about in the Can You Relate series, I definitely had a lot to learn. It was a very hard class. A real person, I'll call him Bruce. He is the PA or project administrator in the recreation of my work experiences. I know I come across extremely bashing in the description of people I've actually worked with, but it is a conclusive observation nonetheless. I'm just telling it how I experienced it. So, about Bruce. He is an example of bewildering authority. How in the world did you earn a position of leadership? I had a tiny level of understanding for what was going on in this convoluted hierarchy, but how did he get here remains a question. Watching this man interact was like watching a child being bullied. The child is put under stress daily, but doesn't know where or how to vent his frustrations. So the child becomes a mean kid, constantly acting out on everyone else what he didn't have the courage to do to the bully, who made him this way. In this case, Doug, the deviant, is the schoolyard bully. Once he has you in his crosshairs, he charismatically intimidates you into his black hole. No one is spared from his reach. Here is a cosmos and human being mirror comparison. At the outer rim of a black hole, where it ensnares, causes mass disorder and chaos to an otherwise organized universe. Remember, a large black hole, Doug, will absorb an inferior black hole, Bruce, magnifying chaos and disorder. The bullied becomes a bully. If you can't beat them, join them. Doug's style of charismatic bullying is wooing with words as the snare that pulls you into his hypnotic incantation to gain full control. The lock and key is fear and romanticism that literally works like a charm. Staying away as much as possible, I went along doing my job without incident. Was the workload a little unbalanced and unfair? Sure, but it wasn't a problem to cover all the crews assigned to me, so I didn't complain. But oh no. When the system is purposely manipulated to pile more work onto you no one else wants to do, but you do it with no complaints. Well, in the mind of a sociopath, that was meant to reduce my responsibilities and destroy you, not make me look bad. If they are even able to formulate and articulate such an idea. I'll go more deeply into the mind of a sociopath in another episode. But what I will share with you is sociopaths and narcissist personality types will always sabotage a mischievous victory. I've seen it too many times to count. Continuing the story, if you've already won at the deceitful game of more work for me, less work for you, and no one is complaining, you win. Leave it alone. Nope. Narcissistic black holes, energy vampires, only feed on chaos and destruction, not peace, and not even a victory. So I get called into Bruce's office. I couldn't imagine there being a problem. My crews are covered, my daily reports are detailed, and there aren't any field issues that I know of. So what does this idiot want? I walk into the office, passing Doug's desk, which is directly across from Bruce's workspace. Sidebar: when trouble comes, pay attention to the person in the room that is obviously listening, but never looks up to see what's going on. It reminds me of an old Brad Pitt movie, Snatch. There is a scene where Brad's character, Mickey, and his crew of bandits secretly placed an explosive at a rally they actually attended. Standing at a distance, of course, knowing when and where the detonation would take place, they calmly watched the ceremony. But Mickey was facing the opposite direction of the pending doom. When the weapon discharged, causing death and chaos all around, Mickey didn't look, move, or flinch. He smiled. Doug's pretending to work as he stiff-necked stares at his computer screen was obvious. When you are reading, your eyes slightly move from left to right. If you're typing, well, you type. I enter the red zone. Hey, Bruce, what's up? The clip in the grenade was pulled. In a tone denoting aggravation, Bruce went on to say, I hear that you're covering most of the crews out there. Being passive, because it really wasn't a big deal to me, I reply, it's no big deal. I got it. Exhaling as if I just gave him yet another petty complaint to pile on his plate of problems, he said, look, you just need to learn how to communicate. Totally confused with the words and inflection of his speech, I rambled on. What do you mean? Is there a problem? Did I miss something? Parsing his words like an old school robot, he abruptly cuts me off. You need to learn to communicate. Sorry, another sidebar. Matter that comes dangerously close to a black hole can form an external accretion disk. I like to call it an evil halo that is heated by friction interaction with a black hole, resulting in what is scientifically known as a quasar. Think of it as the bright flash of an explosion that happens right before the chaos and destruction. Well, I have had enough of being manipulated, used, and accused. In fact, how in the hell do you get in trouble for actually doing your job? Assignments the accuser approved. I began to scintillate. Who do you think you're talking to? I'm covering the crews assigned to me. You see the activity in our daily reports every day. Why are you talking to me like I've done something wrong? He cuts me off again, repeating himself just like before. You need to learn to communicate. All right. He almost pulled me into total darkness. The friction got me heated, but I didn't quasar. Before I feed more energy into this inferior black hole, I better pull myself from the grips of the event horizon. Doug is in my line of sight just for a moment as I exit. Wait, what? In an instant, I understood. Oh my God, that wasn't Bruce talking to me in there. That was Doug. Bruce is just a hypnotized puppet speaking for his master. Damn. How did I finally conclude Doug as the puppet master? He smiled. I'm out of time, but here is a clip of what to expect in the next episode of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Podcast. Let's face it, we don't really learn until life gets really hard. But the beginning phase of losing self-control into a downward spiral can be a lot of fun, even when we know the risk. Just this once. 2, this kind of sucks. 2, I hate my life to wanting it all to end as you stare at the devil's hand.
Don't forget to order your copy of the Un-Convoluted Hierarchy Workbook to help you navigate your work environment. The link is in the bio.
It's easier to keep up with new episodes when you click the follow button and turn on notifications. Remember, fellow navigators, circumstances don't change. You do. See you next time.